I'm going to show you how to separate the sleeves on the turtleneck sweater for the Three Little Pigs pattern. And if you don't already have the pattern, you will find a link for it in the description box below. You should have finished round 16 and now we're ready for round 17, which is where we are going to separate the sleeves. And you're going to need 2 stitch holders that look something like this. You could even put them on scrap yarn if you don't have a stitch holder. So the pattern says to knit 18. So we are just going to go through and knit like we have been doing, just 18. Now the pattern says to place 10 stitches on a holder. We're going to take our stitch marker off and we're going to go ahead and open our stitch holder and we're just going to place 10 stitches. So I'm entering the stitch as if I was going to purl. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that should have been all of the stitches that were between those 2 markers. So I'm going to close that up and I'm going to take that stitch marker and put it over here. Now the pattern says we are to knit 18. So what we want to do is keep these stitches to the front. And now we are going to knit. And what we want to do is take the stitches from our right needle and the ones that are left on our left needle, and we're bringing these together. And how we do this is we just knit like normal. But I find that it really helps to bring our right-handed stitches a little bit closer to the end of the needle and to really pull this working yarn. We've joined this together, which is the underside of the sleeve, and we're going to pull it again because we need to knit again. And we may end up with a slight hole here or a gap, and that's going to be okay because we're going to clean that up in the end if there ends up being any kind of a little hole right here. So don't worry about that too much right now, but try to keep those stitches right underneath really taut. And I'm sorry, that is my kitten right there making a lot of noise. We've already knit 3 and we need to knit 18, so we have 15 more to go. So now we are going to place the next 10 stitches on our second stitch holder, and this should be the stitches right at your stitch marker. So we're going to take that off and do the exact same thing. We're going to place all 10 of these stitches on the stitch holder. So now we're on round 18. This is the beginning of my round, and for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and place a stitch marker. I'm only going to need 1 now, and this is just going to show me that this is the beginning of my round. And I'm only going to be knitting on 3 needles, but you could distribute yours back on 4 needles. But we're going to go ahead and hold these stitches that are for our sleeve here in the front of our work, and we're going to join this up under the sleeve again, and we want this to be super tight, as tight as possible. I'm going to pull that yarn and I'm just going to knit all the way around for round 18. On round 18, as you are getting ready to join these stitches that are underneath the sleeve, just make sure to keep a nice tight tension so that there aren't any big gaps. And that is normal for it to look like that. And just pull tautly right there. And like I said before, if there ends up being any kind of a gap underneath your sleeve, we will fix that once we start working on the sleeve. We're going to leave a long tail here. That way, if there ends up being any kind of a hole, we'll be able to fix it. So don't worry about that part.